Okay, hi everybody. I'm going to walk through an answer key for a cryptic crossword on our screen. And I'm not going to do an authentic solve, which would take a lot longer and which I'm not so great at myself, but I am going to do a walkthrough of all the answers with explanations. But actually, I don't want to start with one because that one's a little bit crazy. So we'll go with eight across. And we have thug emerges from engine's cover with trees cut in half. So the definition or the synonym here is the word thug. And then we have emerges from. So thug comes from. And then the rest of it is going to be the word play. So we have engines cover with trees cut in half. And the cover of an engine in a car, at least, is hood. And trees cut in half is, well, trees can be lumber, and lumber cut in half is lum. So we get hoodlum for thug. Number nine across, outraged from fizzy grenade. Fizzy is kind of a classic anagram indicator. So anything that's sort of causing a bit of chaos or disruption or moving around might be indicating an anagram. So if we take grenade, which also has seven letters, like the answer, and move the letters around, we get a word that means angered. A word that means outraged, and that word is angered. Let's just stick with the acrosses for now. So 11 says, flakier one hugged by fruitcake. Um, flakier here is going to be the definition. So we're looking for a synonym that has seven letters. And that leaves us with one hugged by fruitcake. One can often be abbreviated to I, like the number one in Roman numerals, and hugged by. So that means it's inside of another word that means fruitcake. So a word for fruitcake is nutter. And if you put the I for one inside of it, you get nuttier, which can also mean flakier. Let's take a look at 12 across. Thankless, mysterious wounds with singular blots. Now, mysterious wounds could be stigmata, and thankless would mean minus a T, because T is an abbreviation for thanks. And that would get us stigmata without the T. And singular, so this is with singular, and singular can be abbreviated as an S. And the definition here would be blots. So we would have stigmas. Number 13 across. Quiet carpet. Oh well. Quiet. Shh. Carpet. Rug. And here we have a charade clue or a charade clue, where basically you're just taking two parts and patching them together. So we get shh and rug to mean, oh well, or shrug. To some extent, too thin for a dental x-ray, 14 across. This is going to be two words, five, and then four letters. To some extent is a classic hidden word indicator. So we're looking for a hidden word within the rest of the clue. And here we could see within too thin for dental x-ray, we get tooth info. So tooth info in the too thin. And that would mean dental x-ray is the definition. So to some extent tells us that there's a hidden word. Tooth info is located within the wordplay, and the definition is dental x-ray, which gives us tooth info. Let's try going down now. And we'll start with number one, down. A crafty one, pawn defeats bishop in local log. The definition here is a crafty one. So we're looking for seven letters. That means a crafty one. There's also pawn defeats bishop, which suggests some sort of chess happening, but Chess terms are often abbreviated to single letters. So P defeats B. And that means we're going to replace a B with a P. And a local log or a police blotter would be blotter, but we're going to replace the B with a P. And we get plotter or crafty one. Two down. Partially sign it Lily, turning up and down gently. All right, Lily. We get another one of these hidden word indicators because partially means that part of the wordplay is going to include the answer. And turning up and down gently is going to be the definition. So we're looking for 7 letters. Actually, up and down gently is going to be the definition because turning suggests that we also have a reversal. So we have not only partially indicating a hidden word, but turning, indicating that that hidden word is going to be spelled backwards. So here, from starting from Lily, we have Lilting, lilting, which means up and down gently, lilting. Wayward Martians, a helpful one. Helpful one is, or a helpful one is the definition. So we're looking for 9 letters that can mean a helpful one. And wayward is an anagram indicator here. It's indicating that something is like out of whack or off course or needs some rearranging. And that means we have 9 letters in Martians and we anagram that out. For me, this usually takes a long time to figure out an anagram. But this is the answer key, so it's going to be quick. And we have Samaritan, a helpful one. 4, transporters of curry both ways on Sunday. The wordplay could be at the beginning or at the end. In this case, the wordplay is both ways on Sunday. And the definition is transporters of curry. And if you enjoy eating curry with naan as much as I do, then you would know that naan can be spelled both ways. It could be spelled N-A-A, oops, N, or you can spell it backwards, N-A-A-N. So that's what both ways means. Both ways is a palindrome indicator. And then this is sitting on top of an S for Sundays. So naans are transporters of curry. Spinning muffin. This is a double definition. When you see something that's super short like this, you should think double definition and 2 words that could mean the same word, 2 definitions that could be in the same word. And one type of muffin is an English muffin. And if you're shooting billiards or playing pool and you want to put some side spin on it, you could use English to create a spinning effect. So we get English for number 5 down. 6. Styx's cabbie picked up Cockney jockey. Styx's cabbie picked up Cockney jockey. Tongue twister. Now, Styx's cabbie is going to be the definition here, and this is a literary allusion to Dante's Inferno. And the oarsman who would lead the dead souls across the river Styx was basically functioning as a cabbie for them. But how do we get oarsmen from the rest of the clue? So picked up is something that often indicates a homophone. And a homophone is 2 things that are sound that sound the same, but they're spelled differently. So when we look at Cockney jockey, we can say, is there something there that sounds like oarsman? And in Cockney dialect, you're often going to drop the first letter if it's like a H, for example. So horseman becomes oarsman, and that's the homophone for oarsman, oarsman. I like that one. We'll try seven down. Quivering night, saving time for gratitude. Time for gratitude is going to be the definition. So we're looking for 12 words that indicate time for gratitude. And night saving is going to be an anagram indicated by the word quivering. So moving, shaking around. If you shook up all the letters for night saving and you poured them out in their proper order, you would get, and it's November 14th as I'm recording this. So a happy Thanksgiving to you in the near future. And that's also the answer to seven, Thanksgiving. Let's look at number one. And here we have a long definition. Biblical fanboys repeatedly broadcast, deny Stony Paul, or maybe cops in the can. So there's a lot going on here. And the first thing I'll point out is when we see fanboys written in all caps, that means it stands for and, nor, but, or, yet, so. In other words, these are examples of coordinating conjunctions. And coordinating conjunctions are used repeatedly in the Bible and other religious texts often, and in a certain style called polysyndeton. And that's the definition here, biblical fanboys repeatedly. So when you see a sequence of coordinating conjunctions without any commas connecting them, as in a typical list, this would be an example of the technique called polysyndeton. And the rest of the clue is the wordplay. So let's just add this word, polysyndeton. And we get broadcast. Now, broadcast is an indicator word that can be used to indicate either an anagram, as is the case up front, but can also be used to indicate some sort of homophone or like sound type wordplay. So let's look at the anagram first. Deny Stony Paul. And this sounds like it's an order being given or a request being given, but it's also an anagram that unwinds itself into the word polysyndeton. And broadcast in this case is also being used as a homophone indicator because cops in the can be rephrased as police in the tin, and police in the tin is a homophone for police in the tin. And here we have number one. Maybe a bit of a kooky or maybe slightly unfair clue, but I think it works. 16. Shoeless hipster's clout. So a hipster in this case would be an influencer. Shoeless meaning drop the bottom part, or drop the last letter in this case. So influence is a synonym for clout. And that's 16, 19 across. Tom the party goer audibly supplying mushrooms. Well, Tom sounds like maybe a fun guy. Not really the guy for me, but he sounds like he might be a fun guy as a party goer. And audibly supplying means audibly is indicating a homophone. So a word that sounds like fun guy, but means the definition here. Mushrooms would be fungi. And Tom the party goer is the fun guy. And just to say, supplying here would be all of this wordplay is supplying the same meaning as mushrooms, the definition. We'll try 21 across. Green land is Spooner's fibber too. This type of clue has something called a spoonerism. And if you have a spoonerism, that's when you take two words and sort of reverse the opening sound or the opening letter to those two words to sort of create like a funny result. So if we're looking at fibber 2, something that means fibber 2 is going to be spoonerized into something that means Greenland. So if you're a fibber, you're a liar. And Two could be and, like a conjunction. So liar and can be Ireland. And we get Ireland here for the answer to number 21, which can also be described as a beautiful and lush green land. 23 across. When stars next shine after dinner. So when the stars next shine, well, it's 1:33 p.m. right now. So the next time the stars will shine here is tonight. And when will it be after dinner? Tonight. So this is called the double definition. Let's try 17 down. Climbing in slow-mo, deer feels liberation. Climbing tells me that the word is going to go, or at least part of the word is going to go from bottom to top. So climbing is a reversal indicator that you might see in down clues. And within, climbing in is going to be inside. So that tells me there's maybe a hidden word here. And is there a hidden word that's also going in reverse, like from bottom to top, that equals the definition, liberation? And it turns out there is. We start with the F in feels, and we can work backwards there, and we get F, R, whoops, R, E, E, the two E's in deer, D, and then the OM in slow-mo, and we get freedom, which is another word or synonym for liberation. Pretty cool clue. 24. Restrained expletive, perhaps, is from chasing rad doggies round. So here we get the apostrophes cutting off some letters and trying to get a little bit of a certain regional dialect here, maybe relevant to the clue, maybe not. Restrained expletive is going to be the definition. So this sounds like it's somebody who's maybe about to curse or potentially cursing, but trying to tone it down. Perhaps means this would be like an example of a restrained expletive. Is, and then we get from chasing rad doggies round. So from could indicate all sorts of things, one of which is a hidden word. And round is a shortened version of the word around. And around has about 5 or 6 different meanings. One of them, in this case, would be turn it around. So go from back to front. So if we look inside chasing rad doggies and we go from back to front and we look for a part of it that is from that phrase, we will get from the first G in doggies, G-O-D, another D, A-R-N, A-R-N, God darn. And there we have a sort of restrained or tamped down or modified or minimized expletive. 22 down says Italian poet's courteous opening wager. Well, a famous Italian poet, we might see it already from the checking letters, and it's going to be Dante. But it says Italian poet is, so this definition is this wordplay. Courteous opening wager, 500. Now, 500 in Roman numerals would be the letter D, and opening wager would be ante. And if the opening wager is courteous, it's letting the D go first. So it's allowing someone else to precede it. So we get D before ante, we get Dante. 15 down. Workaholic's hourglass pressured from above. So this could mean workaholic is, as opposed to the possessor of the hourglass. So workaholic is hourglass pressured from above. And hourglass can mean timer. And pressured from above means something is sitting on top of it, putting pressure down on it. And above can mean over. And here we have overtimer or workaholic, somebody who racks up the overtime. 18 down, oblivious, Italian for one, awake and headless. So oblivious here is the definition. And that's because headless is often used as part of the wordplay. And in this case, it would mean like cutting off the head of something, usually the first letter. So we'll start with Italian for one. And the Italian word for one can be una. And awake is sort of patched next to it. Awake can also be written as aware. So I could write an aware, but I'm going to take the head off of the word aware, which means I'll lose the A and I'll just end up with where. And here we get unaware or oblivious. 25 across. Inside. Bravo to lo mein. Knock back a dynamite cocktail. Sounds like somebody's having a pretty good dinner somewhere. Inside might suggest that there's a hidden word. So maybe inside bravo to lo mein is something that means knock back a dynamite cocktail or means a dynamite cocktail because knockback is another word for reversal. So we have knockback indicating reversal and inside indicating hidden word. So once again, we have a hidden word going backwards. And if you look at lo mein, we'll start with the M and go backwards. And we'll get mala, tov, ending in the B in Bravo. And a Molotov is a dynamite cocktail. 19 down, aficionado associates, air raid disco. So aficionados are fans, and associates associates could mean something like club, and to aerate is to fan something, and disco could be something like club. So both of these definitions gets us fan club, and that's called a double definition clue. 20 down, bedwear that is after dark. So after dark could be night, and bedwear is the definition. So we're looking for something that means bedwear. And if you say IE, that's an abbreviation of that is. So that is comes after night. So we got IE for that is. After, that means it's following a word for dark, and night is a word for dark. And collectively, this means bedwear, nighty. And 26, this compiler is easy to read, but too tricky. So this compiler is when the clue setter makes a reference to him or herself. And in this case, it's me. I am easy to read. So easy to read could be penetrable, be it a person or a situation. But then we have the definition, but too tricky. So but is a link word connecting the wordplay. This compiler is easy to read to the definition, too tricky. So too tricky is a synonym for impenetrable. One clue left, and it's 10 down. Avoids cities confused, uncertain. Who I am? Question mark. Confused is a word that's helpful. That indicates some sort of chaos or disorganization. And if we take avoids cities and count up the letters, we're going to see 6 and 6. There's 12 letters there. And if we were to shake up those letters and roll them out in order, it would come to the word that also means uncertain who I am, or possibly in the midst of an identity break of some sort. Dissociative. Oops. Dissociative. Also, potentially a condition that the main character in one of my favorite shows is experiencing. Whether that character is on screen or off, it's endlessly debated. Anyhow, I think that's the end of it. Let's just check, reveal, grid, confirm. Yeah, nothing has changed. So there's the answer key. This is the third puzzle that I ever made. It's really fun to do. It's kind of like demanding, but fun and relaxing at the same time. And it's a nice change of pace from the day-to-day world and life itself. So it's a good addition. It's a good addition to my life. I think people who enjoy cryptic crosswords appreciate what goes into building and what goes into solving them. And there's all sorts of little mini, like little epiphany moments or moments of laughter or pleasure or frustration, but it feels good when you actually get an answer, and it feels good when you build a clue. Maybe I have three or four of them here that really work in terms of the wordplay and the definition and the surface. The surface is just how does it read, like on the surface. And I like cryptic crosswords because all these different clues are sort of little miniature dramas or little miniature stories in themselves. They're all pretty good story prompts, actually. So if you take any of these random clues and try to write a story off of it, it's actually pretty good. And so it gets the imagination going as well. And that just about wraps up this tutorial or this answer key walkthrough. And I hope you all have a nice day. Thank you.